Well, let's just segue right into this interview, Christie Street. This is great to have you here.
Yes,
And I was just talking about Arizona and coming out from Missouri. Oh my gosh. Are you guys just, my first question, how did you come to be a part of last Wednesday's
yes,
events in Adelanto, and just give me a little history of how that happened from
yes.
Missouri?
So like I was saying, we got our first big snowstorm, and we live in an RV there in Missouri while we're building our tiny house. So, it's just not fun. The kids enjoyed the snow, but we were ready to get away from it. And we originally moved from Arizona about 4 years ago. So we just love it here in the wintertime, and we decided to travel down, and we had the Polaris and the dirt bike and the four-wheeler. So we're just going to come have fun. We homeschool. I work from my computer, so we're able to travel. And we were going to be in Glamis. Our next stop was Glamis, California, and we started to see this people's convoy. And we are just adamant about the no masks, no vaccines, no mandates. So when we saw they were starting this convoy there in Adelanto, which was only 4 hours away from where we were going to be, we knew we had to go. So that's how we ended up there.
Woo, it gives me chills.
Yes.
Did you ever see a movie called Close Encounters years ago where they all felt like they needed to go to this mountain in Wyoming? All these people
Yes.
went, and it's kind of like Richard Dreyfuss was building this mountain in his home, and his wife thought he was crazy. But
Yes.
people are going to think we're crazy, but you and I speak the same language. I am fed up to the hilt with forced,
Yes.
and the government forging their chains around us. Thank God the spirit of Patrick Henry, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and all these patriots that
Yes.
fought and died and bled for our country is in you, me, Mayor Reyes, and a whole bunch of others.
And those truckers.
Yes, and our truckers are our last line of defense, and
They
God
sure
bless
are.
them. Talk about our truckers and any interaction you had with them.
So they are all just so humble. That would be the first word that I would use for them, is humble. And it was like just the same feeling that I get as the mama bear, and I'm sure that my husband feels as a papa bear. It's like this, we're just in this defense mode now, because enough is enough. Like you said, we are all fed up to here with it. It happened. It's over. The science isn't there, and it's time to let our families have the lives that we had before this nonsense. We're not gonna let them do this. And that was the feel from them. It was like they're just standing up, and they're done. And we got some off-road vehicles going. Thank you, Veterans Flag. It's really great to see. We're taking, kind of like you have, we're taking this convoy everywhere we go. Whenever we can, we're holding up our signs. I've got our sign up on our van right here, if you want to see, right here. And then on the front, we've got We the People. We've got our flags. So we're trying to represent them from here, because we just couldn't go the whole way. It's like you got kids, 2 dogs. The van is a great space when we're in places like this. But that convoy was a challenge for us, but we really loved it. We loved it.
Well, the one reason I wanted to talk with you, Christie, is because I'm trying to capture the spirit of the moment, if I could say it like that.
Yes.
Tell me what it was like that morning, the anticipation, the enthusiasm. Those that spoke were outstanding. That's
Yes.
where I saw Mayor Reyes. Tell me about the excitement that day.
It was amazing. And honestly, so the night before, it was so windy, and there wasn't a huge turnout. I mean, there were people there, but it wasn't a whole lot. And it was like, kind of small. But then the next morning when we woke up, and you could see in our video, I kind of started in the morning real early, like 4 a.m. we were up, and we went out there. There was still just not a lot of people. It was freezing cold. And then as the hours went by, more and more and more people showed up, and it was just so many people by the end of it. The parking lot was completely full, and the speakers, like you said, they were amazing. They really were. They got everyone pumped up, and they got the message across that this isn't a violent thing. This is us just saying we have a human right to choose, and you cannot take our jobs away just because you want to, mandate this vaccine.
I want to share something. For the last 20 years of my life, I've been interviewing military veterans that have served our country, and I have a documentary series called Lest They Be Forgotten. This video will be on my Voices of History channel, which
Awesome.
features those stories. But my whole life has been consumed with the freedoms that our veterans have fought for, the stories that they've told from World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, even up to Iraq and Afghanistan, the Gulf War. 6 weeks ago, the best I can say it, Christie, is God put 11 in my heart for truck drivers. He
Yes.
put 11. I could feel it coming on. I was out taking video with a new lens, and I found myself taking video of truck drivers, trucks going by, and all of a sudden, boom, the light went off, and before this was in the headlines. And now I know why God has led me in this direction, because we need to give our attention to our truck drivers. Like
Yes.
they said, if we ain't turning, we ain't earning. If you bought it, we brought it.
Yes,
And that's
and they are like our they're everyday heroes. And the stuff that I heard some of them talking about on other interviews, it's things that we don't think about, and we really do take advantage of it and take it for granted. They are the ones paying for the fuel, and the fuel prices are outrageous. They're outrageous to us, and we've got to drive, whatever it is, 30 miles a day to and from work. But they're driving thousands of miles a week, a month, and they're paying that price. And the things that we did to them during COVID, it's disgusting, So I understand why they're standing up, and they really are. They're the soldiers on the ground right now for us.
Amen. There are freedom fighters fighting for our freedoms. We all are engaged in a battle for the same freedoms that our veterans fought for years ago on a foreign land. We're fighting for them in this country, and I know I'm preaching to the choir with you and your family. But
Yes.
putting a mask on a child is child abuse.
It's disgusting, and honestly, I agree with you. It's child abuse. I only did it one time because my son had to get surgery, and they mandated it. That was the only reason that it happened. And honestly, we won't ever let it happen again. One thing I want to mention, we have a video on our YouTube channel. It's called Unquarantined 2020. During that time, we took a road trip similar to this. And when we were traveling, there was nobody anywhere. Any of these stops that we're making now, there was no one. Everyone was wearing masks. You could not go into a store without wearing masks. And at that time, in our hometown in Lebanon, Missouri, it was like 50-50. You could definitely go shop without a mask though, but half were wearing it, half weren't. And we're in Arizona now, and I can go into stores and nobody's wearing masks. No one is. And I truly feel like this convoy and the things that the Canadian truckers did there are the reasons that we're seeing, Arizona, states that were hardcore masking, and they're not anymore. And it's really, really awesome to see.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, did you follow the Canadian situation?
Oh my God.
They started the momentum. It didn't end real good, but that momentum is still going in our country now, isn't it?
Well, and it didn't end good, but it did because the mandates are lifted. So, I mean, it did, and it woke some people up, I think, there. And there's a new convoy started there, if you've seen. So there's more people going, and I really do believe that this convoy is going to be huge. And my husband and I have already talked about like the possibility of us going to DC because when everyone gets there, because we just want to be there. But we don't know yet what we're going to do because there's a lot of logistics that are involved with that. But we know that the people are tired of it, and this fringe minority BS is exactly that. That is BS. It is not a fringe minority. When every state they've hit, they've got people cheering for them, crossing these. They want to be there for them to support them, and they're going to join them, and it's going to be huge.
It really warms my heart to see all the flags, the kids out there, and the people. And we are the majority, and we are the people. And the Constitution was written to protect us from government, from tyrants. And I know I don't have an adjective to describe how fed up God is. How fed up God is. God's rolled up his sleeves. He said enough is enough. Now he's using truck drivers of all things and to lead the charge in the battle. And I'm just so grateful for you and your family and what you're sharing, because this is liberating stuff.
Yes, I agree with you. Seeing the other moms out there with their kids, I got a lot of comments on my live saying, kids shouldn't be there. And I'm just like, I even had one lady at the rally ask my son, did you skip school for this? And I'm like, he's at school right now, lady. Like, this is school. We homeschool. And so it was like, it's just cool to see the families there. You know, it wasn't just us. There were a lot of kids there, and it was great to see, because honestly, they are our future and they need to see this and they need to be there.
Amen. And it's been so difficult for our kids, but I know we could talk for hours like this. If what would your prayer be for this country right now? What if you prayed for this country, what would you say?
Wake up, and look up. Wake up and look up and stand up. That's my prayer for this country, is wake up, look up, and stand up. Because if we don't, it's not going to be pretty. And they don't want to see that. You know, they're all fine with complying to keep their job or doing what they've got to do. It's like, it's obnoxious what they're making the country do. And these people that are complying just to get by got to stop.
I've said that silence is one of the biggest killers in our country. Silence, saying nothing, acquiescence, passive submission or acceptance. It's just, you know, it's time to speak up. Everybody can do that. Everybody can pray. Everybody can say or do something. And that's the charge that I'm trying to lead where I live in Colorado, is that we need to get up. We need to get vocal. Enough is enough. People, get up. Don't just be fed up, but get up and do something about it.
Yes. And our newest video, I challenged everybody. I said, even if you can't go to the convoy, put signs in your car. Fly a flag, honk at everybody you see, so that they wake up too, because people are going to start saying, oh my God, wow, they want mandate freedom. I mean, we were at Lowe's. We were at Lowe's the other day, and I had several people come up to our van because we put the signs up in the van, just saying, cool, you know, so they're seeing they're not alone. And that's the most important thing, is that everyone knows we're not alone. They want to tell you that on the news. Turn the news off. You're not alone. Stand up and don't do it anymore, because you don't have to.
The propaganda and the censorship has killed so much of this country, but we are wise to that. We understand that. We know how Hitler used propaganda to deceive and dupe the German people into thinking that the Jewish people were the problem. In fact, when I go out, Christie, I wear a yellow Star of David, the mark, because we've been marked, man, and we realize
I saw that on one of your videos. I saw that star. That's awesome. We have been, and you know what? I'll mark myself with these signs and my flag. And I'll honk and I'll yell. My kids, they say, breathe fresh air. We've been saying that from day one. So, well, not day one. Okay. We were all kind of fandoozled, I think, in the beginning. But when I started really seeing it, where we were going with this, which was the vaccine, very, very quickly. And the fact that, like, they had commercials within weeks, you know, they've got commercials of Taco Bell employees with the masks and the gloves on, handing them the food. I'm like, where did that come from? They had that in the vault. You know, okay, this don't make any sense.
It's propaganda, and you know, it's unfortunate. Hitler's minister of propaganda said, a lie repeated 1,000 times becomes truth.
Right.
You know, that narrative. And Hitler needed the media. Well, what does the enemy need today? They need the media to drive the narrative. But we thank God, and I mean that, thank God we are onto it, and we're going to show these people what free people do.
We are going to, and we are right now. So it's pretty amazing. And I just want everybody watching to make sure you guys are following the truckers. I really know, even for us, when we were on the convoy and people were like on our live videos chatting with us, it really boosted our spirit, and they have the live videos going. So I think supportfreedom.net has all of the live streams available on their website there. And I know Trucker G is a really popular one on YouTube as well. So get on there, support them that way. Follow them on Facebook so you know where they're going to be, and be there to support them that way. And put your signs up, put your flags up, talk to your neighbors, your coworkers. Even if you think that they're okay with it, I don't think they are. You know, we can see right now people are not okay with this, so you are not alone.
Amen. And I'm so thankful for this technology where you and I can talk now.
Yes,
and we can bring this. We can bring this, and when I do the video, you can put it on your YouTube channel. Tell me about Off the Grid Streets. Where does that name come from?
So when we first decided we were gonna go off the grid, that's kind of when we were talking about what are we gonna name our channel. because we wanted to document the journey, really. And that's kind of where it came from. Our last name is Street. So we're off the grid streets. So, and that's what we're kind of doing. We're building our tiny house there in Missouri. We are, you know, learning about gardening and things like that. It's a very small thing right now. We're just new at this, but we took a break from that because we can. And, you know, why not? It feels like the end of the world. So the tiny house is coming along and it'll get done. But I mean, you can't build in the freezing ice and snow.
Yeah, like the song says, it's the end of the world as we know it, you know.
Yes, exactly.
And we're not going to take it anymore, as the
No,
other song says. So,
we're not.
but I wanted to show you this too. I got stickers that say "Thank you, truck drivers." I have signs. You may have seen my videos. I hold them up proudly. I'll tell you what, Christy, as we end this, when I say the word freedom, something inside just comes alive.
Yes.
When I'm feeling down, I go out and yell freedom at the top of my lungs to these truck drivers as they go by and thank them. And it just puts it all into place. It puts it all into place. And that is the same spirit that all of our founding fathers had in them. The blood, like I said, that was shed for this country. And that's what you know, Patrick Henry had it right at the end of his speech. Give me liberty or give me death.
Yeah, give me death. Exactly. And I feel that. And we felt that there. Honestly, I mean, you had moms holding up freedom or nothing. So, and if that doesn't, and I just loved it. I loved it. You know, we're standing up, especially, and I think it's for the kids. The most of it is we don't want to see our future go this way. So stand up.
Is it your son that had the sign that said mandate freedom?
Yes, and he was on CNBC. He got on CNBC with Shepard Smith. We were like, we couldn't believe it. They showed his picture. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's great. Yeah, send me a picture of that if you can. I may put it in this interview or anything else you want to. But just share this with your audience. I'll share it with mine. Tell me quickly, who watches your channel? Is it moms and dads? Is it just anybody, or do you even know?
Well, I was looking at the analytics, and it looks like mostly like before the convoy, it was mostly like, you know, men and women in their middle, like our age, honestly, people our age, because the truth is people our age are not happy with what happened. They're not happy that they went and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on degrees to have jobs making $15 an hour and not be able to spend time with their families. You know, my husband, after I birthed my daughter, had to go right back to work. It's just this constant grind. They're not happy, so they're watching this channel. But after the People's Convoy, it's a lot more. I mean, the range is all the way up to 65 and up, women and men. So I think, and I'm excited about that. You know, we talk about God, and God has a timeline for everything. And it took a long time for our channel to kind of like take off. And this really kind of helped, obviously. But I think more people need to see what we're doing as a family, you know, that you can take your kids out of school. You can teach them yourselves. You should. And then you can get out of that rat race. We have a video called "Why Did We Escape the Rat Race?" because that's what it is. You know, you can do it. You don't have to have a bunch of money to do it. It is uncomfortable, but we got to get uncomfortable, because this comfortable is not good. You know, it's really not good what's going on.
That's a good point. I shared that recently at an event that, you know, to be uncomfortable, it needs to become difficult to be uncomfortable. It needs to hurt, and then people might get out and do something. So, but I'm gonna let you go. But I just wanted to say that I hope and pray that people watch this will feel that same spirit that you have now, that you had. It's building, that I have as I get back out there. I want to go to DC too. I don't know.
You got to do it. I'm going to tell you, do it, because if you don't, you're going to regret it. Go do it. And I honestly think that we're really talking about, we talk about it like a few times every day. We're like, should we go? Should we be going to do? What should we do? You know, because we don't know. So I would say do it. If you feel like you should do it, go do it. Be there. You're just going to feel amazed at the amount of people that are standing with us.
Do you think they'll go down? They're not going to go downtown DC, but
they openly said that. Yeah, they openly said they're not going to DC. The only issue, though, is that there are trucker convoys that are. So, and I really do see the media, the big media, blending all of them together in one group. So those truckers that are going to kind of steal the show, I believe, from this. But I think the biggest thing that we need to remember is that God's people are in this convoy with these truckers. So what is going to go down is God's war. So whatever takes place, and there's going to be so many people, I'm telling you, there are going to be so many people. It's not going to just be 100 trucks or 1,000 trucks. It's going to be 1,000 trucks plus 10,000 cars plus 6,000 RVs or whatever. It's going to be a lot of people. I really do believe that.
So when would be the key date to go to DC? The 6th, the 1st of March? What?
Gosh, I mean, they're already in Texas right now. I would, if you're wanting to try to get there, I would try to be there by like the 5th, because they're taking their time getting up there. I would say try to be in that area by the 5th. If we went, I would try to go where the People's Convoy is going to be. I would stay away from DC, because no matter what, where the People's Convoy end up, there's going to be a lot of people there, and it's going to be big. And that's where I would go, is where they're going to end up. I would follow them.
You mentioned a couple YouTube channels. I've also been following a guy named Joe from Bakersfield. He's got First Responders Media. He's been doing some great coverage. So,
Yep.
but that's what I wanted to be doing too. So, okay, let's just wrap this up. I think that's about all I wanted to ask you. I just wanted to capture that spirit that you have and still have, and it's so contagious. It's like you talk about contagious. It's like God wants us to be contagious, because we can spread His word everywhere.
Yes,
we are contagious. We are contagious.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate it. It's so nice to meet you.
Well, you too, Christy. I'll put a nice music track to it, and if you want to send me a picture of your son with that sign,
I will. I'm going to
send maybe a picture of you or your family. That's fine. I'll put it in there somewhere. But I hope to have it up today or tomorrow. But just share it on your site too, and we'll just continue working together. And maybe I'll see you in DC.
Yes, and send me an email on how to share it on my website, because I do want to share it on our YouTube channel. So give me the directions how to do that.
It'll be easy. But did you watch my interview with Mayor Reyes yesterday?
Yes, and he's so awesome. I just have to say that mayor is really amazing. I mean, he is truly like grassroots, from the people, speaks for the people, represents the people there in Adelanto. So he's amazing. And that interview.
And I'm gonna go there to shake his hand. But I gave him a high five yesterday. I'm gonna give you a high five.
High five! Yes.
High five.
For freedom.
Well, my best to you and your family, and we'll be in touch. But thank you, Christy, for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Bye.